I've waited a long time to be able to say this with confidence. Microsoft is finally set up for sustained first-party success. Xbox Studios' on-paper portfolio was capped off by the Game Awards' riveting reveal of Perfect Dark, which will revive a beloved N64-era franchise that's been dormant for 15 years. It's been entrusted to The Initiative, Microsoft's lone new homegrown studio located in the development hotbed of Santa Monica that's been staffed by talent with impressive resumes. For instance, Perfect Dark's director is Drew Murray, who also helmed 2014's sublime Sunset Overdrive. But let's back up a bit first. The story of the Xbox One's disastrous launch has been well told at this point, though I'd argue that Microsoft's failures in the first-party/exclusive games department over the past generation have been just as damaging to the brand, if not more so. Funny enough, Xbox One actually had a pretty solid launch window's worth of exclusives. Forza Motorsport 5, Dead Rising 3, Rise Son of Rome, and then Titanfall. But since starting reasonably strong on the software side, the well has gone and stayed dry year after year. And while there have been some gems, they've been overshadowed by the studio closures, franchise failures, and high-profile cancellations and delays. You know the recent Xbox story, a host of studio acquisitions, a megaton Bethesda purchase, the rise of Xbox Game Pass, and the release of a great new next-generation console in the Xbox Series X. The last and most important piece of the puzzle has always been first-party and/or exclusive games, though, and it's also the problem that takes the longest to solve. You simply can't get major system-selling exclusives overnight, not even when you pay $7.5 billion. That brings us to today, when we can finally take a holistic view of Microsoft's first-party roadmap and genuinely get excited about what we see. Check out this list: Halo Infinite, Perfect Dark, Fable, Starfield, The Elder Scrolls 6, Avowed, Hellblade 2, Everwild, Forza Motorsport, State of Decay 3, and Microsoft Flight Simulator coming to Series X. And that doesn't even include the unannounced but inevitable sequels like Forza Horizon 5, Gears 6, Fallout 5, and Doom 3. Nor do we know what the talented studios like Machine Games, makers of the Wolfenstein series, and Compulsion Games, makers of We Happy Few, are up to just yet. Meanwhile, Microsoft has also inked a handful of third-party console launch exclusives, including Warhammer 40,000 Darktide and the Vin Diesel vehicle Arc 2. The bad news is that most of those are still pretty far away. Granted, 2021 should nevertheless see a number of exclusives land on Game Pass, though not too many heavy hitters. The Medium, Scorn, Psychonauts 2, Warhammer, 12 Minutes, and of course the console release of Flight Sim are all on tap to be appetizers for 2021's main course in the fall, which is of course Halo Infinite. And look, nobody's saying that these games are better than PlayStation's exclusives. Sony has earned its sterling reputation amongst gamers by consistently delivering fantastic first-party games. I'm not trying to make this a comparison at all. Quite frankly, Microsoft has to get its own house in order before it can worry about Sony. All of these games have to actually be great, not just good, in order for that to happen. But there's finally light at the end of the tunnel for Xbox gamers. Perfect Dark, a first-person more than a shooter, according to the Game Awards reveal video, gives Microsoft the chance to do what a new IP can't: tap into a groundswell of nostalgia and resurrect a fan-favorite franchise in a way that Xbox has really never done before. It could prove to be the perfect complement to the rest of the newly impressive first-party roster. Here's hoping that Microsoft can pull the whole thing off and finally make their first-party problems a thing of the past. And if you want to talk more Xbox, join me on Podcast Unlocked, IGN's weekly Xbox show.